That was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. John, where'd you go? Beautiful and beautiful to our band. And doesn't that song just take you, to that place where we can feel the presence? And it's so important that we take the time to do that we take the time to really feel the presence of God, to feel the presence of love. Again, God is both immanent and transcendent. And we know that God is not this quote-unquote being that is outside of us, but God is the allness of everything. And when we can sink back into that, and that's what I could feel during that song. So thank you for sharing that with us. Beautiful. I want to first share with you a little bit of this past week. On Friday, Dee and I went up to Unity Village, and Friday 7 to 9, Saturday 9 to 9, and then Sunday 9 to 3, we were in a conference that had more to do with small group and how to create more connection within our ministry. And that was amazing. And then Paul came up and joined me on Sunday afternoon, and then we did the Unity People's Conference, and it was essentially the same, 9 to 9, most every day, with the exception we did get to go to the Royals game on Wednesday night, which was a really great experience. It was incredibly hot that night, but it was a great experience. So it was just like, for me to get to go do that as the minister it just fills my cup. And I come back so inspired and with so many ideas on what we can do together. And for, Unity Worldwide Ministries, their mission is to transform lives. And I love that, to transform lives. And what we know is as we transform lives, we transform our world. I want to share with you that there's Unity Worldwide Ministries and there's Unity Worldwide Headquarters. Unity Worldwide Headquarters is Unity Village in Lee's Summit. Unity Worldwide Headquarters is the place that you're going to go to retreats, and I invite you to go to a retreat there. It's the place where Silent Unity is, where there's been 24-hour prayer for like over 100 years. And it's not been right there for that whole time, but for a lot of that time. And it's also has this Awaken Whole Life Center, which is this beautiful tower of all kinds of healing modalities. And so that's Unity Village. Precious, beautiful place. Then there's Unity Worldwide Ministries. Unity Worldwide Ministries right now is off-site. Unity Worldwide Ministries is there for the ministries and the ministers. And so they're the ones that are helping us with our bylaws. They're providing curriculum. They're providing media for us. They're providing things that we need to keep our ministry strong. However, it's interesting because all the education used to be at Unity Village, Unity Worldwide Headquarters, the personal development licensed teacher ministry. Last year, Unity Worldwide Headquarters said to Unity Worldwide Ministries, we're not doing it anymore, it's yours. And so, boom, Unity Worldwide Ministries is going, okay. But I have been so impressed with how they have just visioned. They have called forth everything that they need, and they have created an incredible educational program for us. And I loved this because they said, what is it that we want to take into the future that is so precious to us? And, they prayed about it, and they said, what is important as our foundation is to take the Fillmore teachings and the basic teachings of unity into our future. And if you've never read some of those old unity books, I encourage you to, because they are filled with so much incredible truth. And they're integrating other things as well. But I love that we're staying true to what we know the unity principles are about, and we're expanding on that as well. I want to share with you too, how many of us have heard of like Joel Osteen's church or Saddleback Church? Big, ginormous churches, and Joel Osteen gets 40 to 50,000 people a week. And so sometimes we can look at ourselves and feel like, gosh, we're so little. Huge paradigm shift. When somebody presented to us, I don't know how many unity ministries there are worldwide. We are a worldwide organization, but there are approximately 200,000 people going to a unity church on a Sunday morning. We are a movement. Yeah. Yes. And who we are here at Unity of Springfield matters in the totality of everything. And so we really want to be the best expression of unity that we can be and provide what is ours to provide for all those people. It is said that there are, I think it was 22 million nones, N-O-N-E-S, people who do not have a church or who've been unchurched, don't want to go to church. And 2/3 of those people have gotten on the internet searching for spiritual or religious. And a lot of those people are here in Springfield and the surrounding communities. And that's why I've been saying for a while, it's time for us to come together. It's time for us to come together as a collective consciousness of Unity of Springfield and get this message out in a way that those people who are wanting this message are going to find us, and we're going to help transform their lives. And again, we know by transforming one life at a time, that's how we transform the world. So it's an exciting time. Okay, so I know you probably didn't think you were going to come today and be read a story, but you are. And it's a beautiful, beautiful story that I think is very pertinent for our times. How many of us have ever heard or read the story Old Turtle and the Broken Truth by Douglas Wood? Nobody. You're going to hear it. Okay, here we go. Once in a beautiful faraway land that was somehow not so very far, a land where every stone was a teacher and every breeze a language, where every lake was a mirror and every tree a ladder to the stars. Into this far and lovely land fell a truth. It streaked down from the stars, trailing a tail as long as the sky, but as it fell, it broke. One of the pieces blazed off through the night sky, and the other fell to the earth in the beautiful land. In the morning, Crow found the fallen piece. It seemed to be a sort of stone, shiny and pleasing to the eye, and he picked it up. "This is a lovely truth," said Crow. "I will keep it." And he carried it away, but after he had held it for a while and examined it closely, Crow said, "This truth does not feel quite right. A part of it is missing. I will look for a whole one." And he flew off, and he dropped it to the ground. Other creatures who like shiny things soon noticed the truth as well. There was fox and coyote, raccoon. They each picked it up and carried it a while, but they too found that it had rough edges and was difficult to carry, and its sparkle was soon lost in its appeal. We do not need this broken truth. We will find a whole one. Each one of them found that as they picked up that truth, that it left a bitter taste after all. There's something missing in this truth, and so they left it alone. And after a while, none of the creatures even noticed that the broken truth was there anymore. Then a human, I did that last time too, hold on, going too fast. Then a human being found it. He was walking slowly, listening to the breezes, gazing at beauties above and below and all around him, when he found the broken truth. On it was the writing, and the writing said, "You are loved." The man held it carefully, thinking it was the most beautiful and loveliest thing he had ever seen, and he tucked the broken truth into a safe place, and he kept it. Sometimes he would take it out and he would admire it, and the truth just sparkled for him and whispered its message to him alone, and the man thought that he had never been so proud and so happy. The man took the wonderful truth to his people, those who lived with him, who spoke as he spoke and dressed as he dressed, whose faces looked like his, and together they cherished their newfound truth. They believed in it. They hugged it to themselves, and it became their most important possession. And after a while, the man and his people did not hear the language of the breezes and stones anymore, but heard only their truth. They did not see the mirrored beauty in the lakes or the ladders to the stars, but saw only their sparkling truth. And for them, it was enough. And they called it the truth. The truth made people feel good and proud and strong, but soon they also began to feel fear and even anger towards those who were not like themselves and did not share their truth. The other beings and other people of the land seemed less and less important, and the language of the breezes was hardly heard anymore. Time passed, and other people said, "We must have this great truth for ourselves, for with it comes happiness and power." Many battles were fought, and the broken truth was won and lost over and over again. But such was its power and beauty that no one ever doubted it. And when they were without it, they felt great emptiness where their truth had been. The stones and the trees suffered, the breezes and water suffered, and the animals in the earth. But most of all, the people suffered. Finally, the animals went to Old Turtle, ancient and wise as the mountains and the seas themselves. They all went, and they said, "This truth the people quarrel over, we have all held it for ourselves. It's broken, and it does not work. Please tell the people." "I'm sorry," answered Old Turtle, "but the people will not listen. They're not ready yet." And the suffering continued. Until one day, a little girl came to find Old Turtle. She had traveled very far, had crossed the mountains of imagining and the river of wondering why, had found her way through the forest of finding out, and when she had grown tired, she rode on the back of the animals. And finally, they came to a great hill in the very center of the world, and from there, the little girl thought she had never seen so far or seen so much beauty. But when she saw Old Turtle, she could hardly speak. She simply looked with eyes full of wonder. "Why have you come here so far to find me, little one?" asked Old Turtle. Her voice rumbled like faraway thunder, but was soft as the breeze through a caterpillar's whiskers. I wanted to ask a question," answered the little girl. "Where I live, the earth is sore, and people are suffering. Battles are fought over and over again. People say it has always been this way and will never change. Can it change, Old Turtle? Can we make it change?" And the Old Turtle said, "This world that you describe is not the world that has always been, little one." Then the Old Turtle told of how the people had found the broken truth and the suffering it had caused. "And it's because it's too close to a great whole truth that has such beauty that the people love it so," said Old Turtle. "It's the lost portion of the broken truth that the people need if the world is to be made whole again." "But where's the missing piece?" asked the little girl. "Can we put the truth back together again?" And the Old Turtle said, "First, my child, remember that there are truths all around us and within us. They twinkle in the night sky and bloom upon the earth. They fall upon us every day, silent as snow and gentle as rain. The people, clutching their one truth, forget that it is part of all the lovely and small truths of life. They no longer see the truths. They no longer hear them. But perhaps, little one, you can." I'll try," said the little girl. And she thought more of her long journey, and this beautiful feeling came over her as though the world were made of all of these wonderful truths, as if the world had been made just for her. And she looked once again at Old Turtle, her eyes more filled with wonder than before. And the Old Turtle spoke again. "Remember this also, little one. The broken truth and life itself will be mended only when one person meets another, someone from a different place or with a different face or different ways, and sees and hears herself. Only then will people know that every person, every being is important, and that the world was made for each of us." So finally, the little girl asked one more question. "Old Turtle, how will the people learn these things?" "By seeking out those small and simple truths all around them," said Old Turtle, "by listening once more to the language of the breezes, by learning lessons from stones and animals and trees and stars, even turtles and little girls. Now, little one, it's time for you to go, to return to your people, and to tell them what you have seen and learned, and to help them mend their broken truth. Take this with you," said the Old Turtle as she placed something in the little girl's hand. "I have saved it for a very long time for someone just like you." The little girl looked at what Old Turtle had given her. It was a kind of stone, a mysterious, beautiful stone. It was lovely to touch, and it made her feel so good to hold it. She squeezed it tightly, and she tucked it away for her journey. And then she hugged Old Turtle, and she went on her way. And she made her way back through the forest of finding out, and she sometimes touched the stone the Old Turtle had given her to renew her strength. And it took her a very long time, yet no time at all. And she was home. But it had been a very long journey, and those who take great journeys of the heart are changed. The people did not recognize her, and when she spoke, they did not understand. She told them of her journey, but the people could not follow her words. She spoke of a world made of small and gentle truths, of all the peoples being one people, but they could not catch her meaning. She explained about the broken truth and the need to make it whole, but the people didn't believe her and could not understand. And finally, Crow, seeing all that had happened, flew to, a high place above the village where the great truth was kept in a place where all could see it. And he caught and caught and caught until finally the little girl realized what was hers to do. And she climbed to the top and she placed the piece next to the broken one. And the fit was perfect. The people looked and looked and looked. And some frowned, some smiled, some laughed, and some even cried. And then they began to understand that the whole truth is that you are loved, and so are they. And then the story just goes on to end with Old Turtle smiling. But I loved this story when I read it because I think this is the missing piece, you guys. The missing piece is that we are all one. That all of us are beloved children of the Most High. We're the beloved children of God. We're the beloved children of the light. And every one of us is loved. Even those who have fallen so far away from the truth, they're loved. But more for me today, what this is saying is that even those who are different from us, they are loved, just as we are loved. Martin Luther King said, returning hate for hate, returning hate for hate multiplies hate, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And we talk about this a lot. We talk about the power of love. We talk about being in the presence of love. But today, my friends, I want to encourage us to move way beyond just talking about it, way beyond just intellectualizing it, and recognizing that our presence here right now matters. And our choices every single day of our lives, they matter. And those small, and here's the thing that I got really clear on. I cannot look at the world around me and think it's them out there. I have to take responsibility for what I am, how I am showing up, what I am thinking, what I am adding to the world on a daily basis. There are hundreds of times a day that we can find ourselves in separation. If we will choose to wake up and become aware. So I'm going to share with you one that happened to me the other day. And this is like a small thing, but I recognized it as, oh my gosh. I'm driving along in my car, and a car in front of me has 2 decals on its windshield. And they were skulls. And my first thought was just like, ugh, I don't like skulls. And like, why would somebody put skulls on their... The thing is that I caught myself in that moment because I was immediately in separation and I was in judgment. And so I kind of took this breath and my thought was, it's none of my business. And good for them. This doesn't affect me. Good for them. This is not something that's hurting anything. And that moment for me was such a wake-up call as to how many times in a day that we can so quickly move into that separation and that judgment. And I don't care if you have skulls. I think people love skulls. It was just a realization for me of where I could so quickly move into that separation and that judgment. And then guess what I am being a part of? The darkness. I am adding to the very thing that I say that I don't want in my life. I'm adding to the darkness. And we can no longer sit by and just allow ourselves to be there with that. There are, really and truly, you guys, no more excuses. No more excuses. No more making it okay for ourselves to move into places where we're talking about people behind their backs. Where we're spewing negative words about somebody or about situations. And please hear me on this. So let me say it this way. Some of you know this because I posted this on Facebook. So while we were up there, we found out that a gay ministerial couple had gone to a restaurant in Kansas City. And after their food was served, they weren't just asked to leave the restaurant. They were like, there were just vile, hateful words that were spoken to them. And they made them pay for their food. Now, I'm going to tell you in my humanness exactly. I was devastated. I felt sick. I was mad. I was so angry. And, in our humanness, it's like, I want to go and do something. And I realized and recognized in those moments that, whoa, it's okay. First of all, it's okay. Normal in our humanness to have those feelings. We just don't want to stay there. And so I had to really sit with this for a while and to let myself just come back to my center. And here's where I came in this. This is just what works for me. First of all, I'm not going to just be a passive person and not stand up for what to me is right, and that is equality. So my choice in that was I will not do business with this restaurant because I will not support hate and separation. The big thing is, what did I do from there? And what am I thinking about them, from this point? And so it's really coming back to that place of recognizing, guess what? You are loved and they are loved. And my job is to find my way back to that place of loving them, but not loving the behavior. Big difference. But recognizing, they are beloved children of God. They have forgotten who they are. They are coming from a mindset that is so different from ours that it's hard for us to even fathom that mindset. But if I stay in judgment and anger towards them, adding to the darkness. I'm adding to the darkness. I'm adding to the darkness. So know that your human response is normal. I was talking to somebody in between services, and I just love this so much because she was telling me that she was driving along and she ended up behind this truck, and this truck had a sticker on its window with the words F-U, four-letter word F-U. And she said it just like took her breath away to see this, and it just made her so sad, and just to think that somebody is driving around like this, and all these things came up for her. But I loved where she got with this, because she said, I changed it in my mind, and the word I saw was love you. And that's the power that we have. That's the power that we have. We forget we have that power. We get to see things the way we choose to see them. For me, what I really got last week, I had to step back from Facebook for a while because there was so much negativity going on, and it was bringing me down. I mean, I was like feeling it, and I recognized in those moments I got to step back, and I've just got to get back to posting because I'm posting positive stuff, and that's what I had to do. It may not be what you have to do. Maybe you can watch the news and you can keep up with everything that's going on, and you can keep your center. But the most important thing, you guys, is that we find our way back to that place where we can be the presence of love. That's what we are here to presence love. That is what we are here to do. We are here to presence love. And every single one of us matters. There's an author, Ruben Alves, and he tells a story about one particular type of a date tree that once it's planted, it takes about 80 years for it to produce its fruit. And so when people are planting these date trees, they're doing it for the future. They're doing it for those who are going to be coming after them. And I loved that analogy that what we are planting today, I hope that we see a great change in our lifetime, but it doesn't matter. Because no matter what, we have to keep standing solid in what we know to be true. And we have to remind ourselves over and over to wake up enough to recognize when we're adding to what we don't want and shift it and start adding to what we do want. Take time. It is important. Take time to visualize this world as you would like to see this world. Take time to visualize your government as you would like to see your government. Take time to visualize seeing, everybody being fed, whatever it is. But if we can't visualize it, if we're not putting that energy into it, if we're being passive with that, guess what? It's all the fear and the worry and the negative stuff that is building and growing. But love is the one and only presence and power. It is the highest vibration ever. Love will always overcome. It can't not. It will always overcome. But we have to take our part and own it. No more excuses. No more excuses. And so one of the things that one of the ladies did for us at the conference was when she had us pray, she had us stand and she had us just get a solid, strong, powerful stance. And she had us imagine that we were standing on top of a mountaintop and that we were remembering who we are and that we were remembering our tremendous power and that we were remembering that we are here to be the presence of love and that everything that we need to be the presence of love is already right here within us. And that is that power that is moving through us. And so I'm going to invite you today. We tried to find the heart red stones, but this is the closest that we came. And so I'm going to invite you to take this red stone and put it in your hand, however you would like to do that. And let this be your reminder of the whole truth. Let this be your reminder that your mission on this planet is to presence love. And then I'm going to invite you all to stand up, and I'm going to invite you to get in your strength stance. Strong. Let me see strong. You can be a superhero. You can, whatever you want to do. Just strength stance. Yes. Yes. And the first thing I'm going to invite us to say together from a place of power is no more excuses. Okay? Together, no more excuses. And then I'm going to invite us to say together, I am here to presence love. Together, I am here to presence love. And then the last thing we're going to say together, because we're moving beyond choosing to be the light. My friends, we are the light. So I'm going to invite us to say, I am the light 4 times. And the first time we're going to put the emphasis on I, then am, then the, then light. And so in your power stance, on the mountaintop with strength and power, I am the light. I am the light. I am the light. I am the light. And so it is. And so it shall be. Amen. Yoo-hoo! And so please take these with you. And you may be seated. And I'm done. Namaste. Namaste. Truly, I love the namaste, the namaskar, is that, you know, the light in me recognizes the light in you. And boy, that's easy to look in this room and to see that. But to be able to take that out into our lives, that's where we're really called to that higher place. And so keep that with you, that namaskar, namaste.